Welcome back on the AM show. It's a Monday morning, time now for us to get into the newspapers. And this segment is always brought to you courtesy of Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Now, here's what they're offering you. If you're a man, they're offering free prostate screening. You'll not get this anywhere. If you're a woman, they're offering you fertility screening for free. Just make your way to any of their branches. Here in Accra, it's Pentex opposite the Shell signboard. There's Kumasi Kronumabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takra Dianaji State, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswa and Siaman Zama. Their call lines 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But just the start of the news review, and we're joined by Senior Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast School of Business, Sairam Kawo. Mr. Kawo, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
It's really good having you join the conversation this morning. A lot has happened, and a lot of which we've spoken about. Is there any topical issue that has struck you over the course of the last week into this one? Of course, there's also the issue of the UTV attack, and recently the attack on a City FM or City TV journalist by a member of the NDC. So it appears with our political parties, it's attack in and attack out. Any attack on the media will be brought to the fore, will be dealt with, and, well, I don't know what your thoughts are on that or any other matter that has arisen over the last week, and then we can get into the papers.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the attack that we saw over time was simply an act of indiscipline. Indiscipline in the sense that you do not go and attack the media on the programs that they are turning out. There is the need for all of us to respect the sanctity of the media, to ensure that we promote media freedom, and also to allow the media to do their own work. If there are ways that we disagree with what the media is doing, that is not the right way to go about it. And that attack is condemnable, and we need to ensure that this will not be repeated going forward. The other issue that caught my attention is the spillage of the Akosombo Dam water. That spillage has caused a lot of havoc. It has actually affected the various communities. Households are affected. Businesses are affected. We have schools and hospitals that have been closed down. Farmlands are taken over by the flood. The people are left to their own to decide what they are supposed to do. You can imagine a situation where you have manhole, you have septic tanks that are all over the place, cemeteries are all over. The health situation is very critical. It also tells us that as a country, we are not ready for disaster management. It is very sad that we will not be able to manage the issues of disaster that we have. At this point, I was expecting that government declare a state of emergency in that particular area, looking at water levels and the whole community being wiped off. What I can do at this point is to appeal to individuals, companies, philanthropies, both within the country and outside the country, that the people of Volta region, especially the people of Mefe, Ajidome, all the areas down to Sogakope are being affected. The water levels have even gone far to Adan and Anglogan, Keta area, and all those places are also being affected. And so we appeal to people to help these people in any small way so that they can get food, water, sleeping place, and then after that, then they will think about how they can recover their lives. And as a country, this is the time for us to rethink We shouldn't be reactive when issues like this happen. I'm being told that the president is about to visit the place.
Indeed.
Do we have to wait for the president? Don't we have ministers of state to go to the place and ensure that they see to it that people are relieved? People's properties are being destroyed by the water. Hotels are being closed down. Hospitals have to evacuate people from their facilities to different places. So it is a disaster that we shouldn't just take for granted.
Well, thank you for sharing those thoughts, and you couldn't have said it any better. Indeed, I feel we've been so lethargic in our approach, which has always been the case. And you cannot really blame NADMO. They have so many logistical constraints. Sometimes if you're sitting from afar, you would bash them a lot. But when you get in there and see the difficulties they have, you cannot give what you do not have. That quod non habet. That's the Latin for it. So they are handicapped, and where they're supposed to be resourced, they don't get the resources from there, and these things happen. You remember the incident at the Dolly Bridge? Similar issues, up north, those who were affected by what they felt was the spillage of the Bui Dam, which wasn't the case, but so many interesting stories in there. It's always the tail of the tape, and I don't know really. But you made mention of that story about the president's visit. The Daily Graphic captures it. It says, Akosombo dam spillage. President visits flooded areas today. Another thing for me is how our leaders, I have seen leaders from other parts of the democratic landscape globally cancel vacations, cancel so many important functions to return to their country when some disasters happen. In our country, that doesn't happen. And even when our leaders are in the country, there are things that will happen and you will not hear a peep from the presidency. But let something happen abroad, then you'll see them. Oh, earthquake here. Oh, yes, we're trying to paint an international picture. Oh, George Floyd. Oh, yes. Let's put our hands up and show something that we are representing. But things happen locally and you see no response until some of these things happen. But according to that story in the Daily Graphic, President Akufo-Addo will visit the districts severely hit by the floods occasioned by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam today. The president, who returned to the country last night after a 4-day official duty in the United States, will be joined by members of the Interministerial Committee set up by the government to help address the havoc caused downstream by the Akosombo Dam spillage and help bring relief to those affected. Now, the tour will enable the president and the committee to assess the destruction caused by the flood and its effect on the people in the various communities. Are we saying that as of now, we do not know the full extent of the destruction caused by the floods? I don't know. But your take with this new dynamic, Sairam.
It's really a sad issue because that gave us respect them. We need to take their warfare into account. And as a country, when the spillage was going to be done, I think we should have had a deep assessment and plan on how we are going to look at it. The president would have cancelled his visit because I think we are in the 3rd or 4th day of this disaster happening, and come and show us that he is committed to the ideals of the country that he is leading. But unfortunately, they are now going. You asked the question rightly. Are they coming to tell us that they are now going to assess the impact? There is a story that is also saying that the DC is saying that they are planning to evacuate. Planning to evacuate at this time? Is that what?
Hello, Sairam. All right, we seem to have lost the connection to Sairam Kawa. We'll get that back on stream. But he was posing the question, are we saying that we're now going to assess the situation? He was making mention. Sairam, we lost you for a moment. You were saying something about now planning something. Please go ahead.
Yes, I was just asking myself, are they now planning to go and assess the situation? The DC is saying that they are thinking of evacuating when the people are already suffering. No, we should wake up as a country. We cannot do this to ourselves. We cannot continue this way. It's time when this thing happen, or it will happen, we find a safe haven for these people and put them there. Provide them with sanitary items, food, water, shelter. These are the basic needs, necessities of life. We provide it for these people. So the president is going to the place to visit them. Oh, I know you have suffered this. We are sorry. We're coming to do this. There is a more serious issue to deal with when this thing goes down. Those are the plans that we are expecting our leaders to put in place. What is the disaster? What kind of organizations are we bringing on board and experts in this disaster management we are bringing on board? It's sad. You've seen a statement issued by UTAG, University of Ghana branch.
Yes, I
saying
have.
that there are a lot of experts in the various universities. This is the time government will have to call on these people. And they will come in easily, handy, without asking for money to save situations. But at any point in time, we wait till these things happen. People suffer. We go and have fanfare, talk about it. But nevertheless, it's good the president goes there, and then those who are there, who have not taken the right actions, must be shown the exit. If you are a DCE of the area, if you are the regional minister of the area, and the president appoints you, you are the eye of the president in that particular area. You don't have to wait for the president to come, and then you are seen to be working. Now, why did the president appoint you?
Right. Those are very valid questions you're posing there. In the meantime, my brothers and sisters in that part of the country, in that part of the Volta region, along the Volta Lake, are going through excruciating pain. Some of the women are at that time of the month where their blood flows. I know it's pretty early in the morning, and some of them have not even, per the stories we've heard, not even been able to have a good bath, have a proper change of clothes because of the situation. So basically, the dignity of our people is being compromised on the back of this. But this is Ghana for you. I always say that we should always thank God, because we're a country that wants to pray about everything. Other countries pray and they work. There are even countries that you may say are not very religious, yet they do what they do. God will do his bit, but not what you can do for yourself. There are things that we must do for ourselves, and then God adds to it. It's like that proverb in Chi. So if you don't climb that good tree, if you don't do the things that must be done, you will not get that push. And we keep being a prayerful country without action, without thinking in some regard. Every year, it's a series. We know there will be the spillage. We know some of these things will happen. We'll sit on our rears, our behinds, and wait. And when disaster strikes, then we'll go and pay a visit. We'll do the talk shop, go back, and the people will still be in the mud.
We need to change this paradigm.
We definitely need to. But Sairam, let's get a move on to other stories. New measures to boost growth outlined. That's according to Kojo Ponkroma, Minister of Information. Maternity, paternity bill presented to Parliament. Speaker urges consensus among political parties in nation building. And there's also ECOWAS urges calm in Liberia. Let me take a quick look at some of these stories, and then we shall quickly make tracks. I'll go on the international front later, but let's do pages 13. And then we'll go to 36 for the Liberian situation. All right, so here we are. The president, I think I was rather looking for the maternity bill story, which is supposed to be on. Yes, there it is. So a private member's bill proposing an amendment to extend maternity leave from 3 months to 4 months has been introduced in Parliament. The bill, which is seeking to amend the Labour Act 2003, that is Act 651, is also proposing an option for an additional 2 weeks of maternity leave in the case of a cesarean section, a stillbirth, or multiple births. Now, the Labour Amendment Bill 2023, also known as Parental Leave for All, is also pushing for the introduction of a paid paternity leave, which pertains in other countries, in other countries in Europe, for men for a minimum of 7 days and a maximum period of 4 weeks, with the option of an additional 2 weeks in case of cesarean, stillbirth, or multiple deliveries of spouse, and to provide for related matters. I feel this is a massive step in the right direction. I passed through Hacho over the weekend, and I was with a father with his 2-year-old. She's full of energy, full of activity, but he was alone for a brief period. It is not easy dealing with children, especially when they are newborns and everything to do with it. You can't expect one person to do that work. This makes sense. Other countries are doing it, and I feel it is high time Ghana went that way as well. Just to ensure, though, that we don't have people abusing the system, but it's the right way to go. Let me now go to page 36, and then we'll say goodbye to the Daily Graphic. ECOWAS urges calm in Liberia, and ECOWAS has appealed to Liberians, particularly political parties, candidates, and their supporters, to remain calm and patiently wait for the official declaration of the results by the National Elections Commission. It reminded candidates and political parties of the commitments made within the framework of the revised Farmington River about their decision to abide by the rules and regulations governing the polls and use legitimate means to address all their challenges. This was contained in a preliminary statement issued by ECOWAS and signed by the head of its observer mission in Liberia, Professor Atahiru Jega. And he commended the high sense of patriotism exhibited by polling staff, the security forces, and the general populace. Now, amidst the rain and everything, the process still went on, but Liberians sitting on tenterhooks as they await the declaration of results. Any reactions to these stories, Sarah?
Okay, thank you very much. I will take the first one on the maternity leave and all the related issues. As you have said, you couldn't have put it much better, that this is a massive boost to the human rights issues and proper values that we want to create for the family. The family holds a very important space in our national development. And so the period of 9 months carrying pregnancy and making sure that the child grows within that period. And then 6 months when we have been talking about exclusive breastfeeding of our children. One person cannot do it all. We may not have the mother doing it. And so there is the need for the support of the father as well. Fatherhood is also not easy, just as motherhood is not easy. At this very important time, our women go through a lot. They have issues of depression setting in. When there is a cesarean section, and you have actually witnessed that particular one before, you would understand that our ladies go through a lot of pain. And that is where the men come in to help. These days, a lot of families are working. So you may not be able to get the needed help to bond with the mother and then the child at that point in time. And so it is important that this is extended. And I'm exceedingly happy for fathers who would be able to assist. As you said, as fathers, we are not supposed to abuse the system. That is the time you take to also have care for the child. You bathe the child, you take the child to the weighing that we call it. And once you get there, I have been in that situation. And you always see me bathing my little baby, carrying her for the weighing. You go there and everybody is looking at you. They will set you aside, see to you in a matter of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they see to you and you leave the place. And sometimes if you even go there with your wife, they attend to you early and then you come home and do the things that you want to do. Sometimes in the night, the mother is not sleeping. You may be sleeping. During the daytime, you may carry the baby and support. So when this thing is given, it boosts your confidence in making sure that you love your family. It makes sure that you are happy. When you return to work, it increases your productivity. It increases your relationship that you have with anyone that you have. So it's something that we need to actually encourage and make sure that this is done for all of us, just as it is done in other countries. There are some countries that will even have a situation that a break. So at one point in time, there is a break period. Everybody goes home and meets the family before they return to work. We need to look at some of these things that will make sure that our productivity, the mood at workplaces and all those things will come up. On the Liberia story, we have a history of war in Liberia. And those of us in Ghana, if we hear of Bujumbura, Liberia camp in Ghana, it is as a result of wars that they have faced. They know the devastating effect that wars can bring, disagreements can bring, chaos can bring. And for that matter, they have gone through the election. It has been peaceful. We've not heard of any serious issues of people fighting here and there. And so we would appeal to the Electoral Commission in that particular country.
Right.
Just as it is done in all other countries. And ECOWAS has said it all. They should remain calm. The results would have to be released. And these results should not be delayed. As soon as you are delaying the release of the results, then you are bringing some form of anxiety.
Right.
And once people are anxious, anything can just happen. So they release the results timely, and then they make sure that the winner takes over, and then they run the country. They have a lot of work to do.
Right. Let's get into other papers now.
Once they have a lot of work to do, there is the need for them to just remain calm and use the processes that have been established to ensure that the right thing is done for them to be happy and develop that particular country. When they are well developed, we are happy. We can go there, they can come here, cross-border trade and all those things will go on. But where there is chaos, we are already suffering in our country and we will not be able to get them to come in.
Right. Let's wrap the conversation, Seyram, with some stories from the Ghanaian Times and the Daily Guide, as well as the BNFT. So the Ghanaian Times also talks about the government rolling out restoration plans to save lives and property in communities along the lower Volta Basin. It also reiterates the story about the GJA and the Ministry of Information condemning the attack on City FM and their TV reporter. There's also Mr. President saying support Africa's fight against terrorism and violent extremism. That's the president appealing to world leaders. But if you take note, so the NDC has also condemned this issue on the City FM and TV reporter. It says the NDC regrets and condemns the attack on Ekosia Otri in no uncertain terms, the statement said. However, I'll put it to Sami Jemfi and his team. Condemnation is not enough. This person, whoever perpetrated these acts on a member of the media, must face the full rigors of the law. That's how it must be. It doesn't matter which side it is. The law must take its course. And so let's be willing to cooperate with the law on that. And the Ministry of Information last Friday condemned the assault on City FM or City TV reporter during the vetting of the Ododo Diodo parliamentary candidate of the National Democratic Congress in Accra. So those stories there. Then you go to the Daily Guide newspaper. I betrayed NPP for Mahama, Nyaho Tamakloe says. And interestingly, per this report, at that last meeting together with Brigadier General Nunu Mensah, it says, retired of course, it claims that Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe, a former member of the NPP, and they say former, he says he's not, that he left the ruling party to support the flag bearer of the opposition NDC because ex-President John Dramani Mahama was his nephew. And just to wrap the conversation, the Business and Financial Times, there is also enhanced framework for monitoring remittances. That's according to a study, and genetic science is the future of food security. There's also how easing inflation might impact government refinancing costs. That's how we'll cap off the news review. Any final words for us, Seyram Kawo, as we leave?
All right, thank you very much. I think on the issue of the media attack, we have said it earlier on, those who were involved should be brought to book. They must be made to face the law. Yes, the fight against terrorism is not enough for us to say that the external parties should come and help us. They should give us money to fight it. We must also start fighting that fight ourselves. We shouldn't just leave it like that. And the rescue plans, yes, we've spoken much about it, but we should be proactive rather than being reactive when these issues come up. We want to monitor remittances for what? To tax them? We are already taxing them. And so, yes, remittances have been coming, and then the banking sector takes record of all these remittances that we get. We may use it to see how, when these people are coming in, we can give them some tax rebates that they have. Yes, for politicians, crossing carpets and helping each other is something that is good. Where it suits them, where they think they are going to benefit from, they put their card on that particular table, not necessarily because of the politics that come with it. And when you look at the issue of our Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe saying that he went because former president was the nephew, it lies with him to make that decision. Has he regretted that decision, or he still believes that he is the best person that he has to support, not because he's from my family? It brings a lot of issues about family issues, tribalism, nepotism in our political
well, at least we know that they can always make those choices. But we're grateful, Seram Carroll, for joining us this morning for the newspaper review. He's a senior lecturer at the UCC School of Business. He joined us as we got into the papers. Up next, we have sports with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. But before we go, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helping us bring you this segment. Go there if you're a man. They'll actually scan you for prostate issues for free. If you're a woman, fertility issues for free. Locate them at any of their branches. Here in Accra, they're at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Kronumabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. The Stakwade Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Tichiman Hanswe and Siamenzama. Their call lines 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Sports up next.